Good and fair evening, my friends. Ooh, we are looking a little bit disheveled. What did I do here? You can tell I dressed myself today. Let me fix the camera here because I'm all blown out. But hello, my friends. Good evening. Gunnar, hello. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all. Welcome in. In just a moment, we're going to fix my face here. This is pointing a little bit low, so I'm going to lift you up. We're going to lift you up a bit. Lovely. Shota, thank you for becoming a supporter over on Facebook. I don't know if that just happened, but if it did, thank you kindly. The support is appreciated. Let's fix... I do not know what the issue is over on TikTok, but for some reason we keep getting reported for unoriginal content. Couldn't tell.
Reading books?
Maybe, I don't know. It warned me before I was even on. So it might be talking about the music that I'm using, but I always use copyright-free or music that we own, so I don't know. I don't know. Black Knight, hello my friend, good to see you, welcome in. You and Destiny will probably be alone over there all night, because we're not going to be on the For You page for the stream at all. This is about as original as it gets, really. I mean, it is what I would say. Oh, Teresa, you guys got your shirts, good. Mary Beth, hello, welcome in. Kristen, hello, welcome in, good evening. Stupid Energy Company here has a peak hours thing that runs until 8 p.m. weeknights. That is ridiculous. Keep talking, Rasputin, that's what they say. All by ourselves. I mean, unless somebody from who actually is waiting for Storytime pops in, probably.
I need to be a blasphemer for a minute.
Huh?
And warm up my coffee.
You need to be a blasphemer and warm up. That's absolutely fine. Your coffee is made to be warmed up. Well, no, it's actually made warm, and then you wait all day to drink it, and then it needs to be warmed up.
Could use a percolator instead.
It's funny because Mom takes 70 years to drink her
I
coffee.
don't take 70 years. I want it to last all day, okay?
Literally.
All right, let's see who's all in. We have Erin, we have Matty, we have Captain Hoodie, we have Jaeger, we've got Teresa. Teresa, I'm glad you and Olivia are enjoying your tavern gear. I appreciate you for the support. We have Gunnar in. I assume we have Milo in as well. I thought I saw Milo in earlier. Yes, Milo is in. And then over on TikTok, we have Ashley, we have Destiny, and we have Black Knight. All right, friends. Well, it's good to see you all. I'm glad everyone could make it out for Storytime tonight. And yes, a good and great happy birthday to Erin, who's turned 24 today. Don't worry, Erin, about feeling the I can't believe I'm 24, because as soon as you hit 30, you're going to be like, I'm not even going to count anymore. I'm not even going to count anymore. Hello, Christy, good to see you, welcome in. Why is room temperature coffee bad? Like, hot coffee is good, cooks down bad. Iced coffee is good, warmed up, but bad room temperature coffee is terrible. It is a conundrum of the world.
My new favorite thing is when Milo comes out when he's still
It's a
sleeping
very
and he's like
simple
blinking.
science.
Let's have him say hello to everybody while he's all sleepy.
It's a very simple science.
Look at how sleepy he is. He just came out from underneath the bed, and he's all like blinky sleepy because he's not really awake yet.
Turn on, he was like, I must come out.
Yeah, if he hears something that he wants, he'll wake up and come out, and then he'll just be all blinky and tired because he's a nut. He's a nut.
How I am when I wake
Hello, hello. Facebook wasn't showing Tavern on my feed for a while. Well, there was a little bit there where we weren't up and running, but we're back now, and hopefully we should be back for the foreseeable future. Shota, enjoy your Green Man's Drought. It looks like those are notifications from earlier in the day, so you're probably not in here yet, but... Matty, you said... I can rent a car next year. It's not as exciting as it sounds, but you should go and do it anyways. The gremlins are in my brain, so I will be here with an ear, but my thumbs may be busy... But you know I hear you. All right, Gunnar, I'm glad you made it, brother. Do what you need to do. And Ashley, I'm so glad to have you back. I'm so glad that you were able to make it in. I hope you're feeling well. I hope everything with you and Mateus is good.
You got put into the homeschool academy.
I don't know what that means.
It means
I'm scared.
I cracked a monster open to stay up tonight. Let's see.
Bad
You
and
got a
good.
win.
Excellent. What, his whole curriculum got approved?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
That sounds
Ha-
good
parent
and
high
bad,
five.
And I don't like that I'm not getting told what it means.
It means that your mother and I are solely responsible for your education now, which means I'm allowed to put thumb screws on you when you don't do your homework.
Excuse me?
Yep.
It means that your classes are all online anymore.
25, feeling like I'm 16 most days. Yeah, I mean, I stopped counting somewhere around 30. Actually, if I'm being honest, I stopped counting around 19. Also, last night's advice you gave me was better for today. I give advice. I throw advice out like a machine gun, Maddie. What did I say? It's like if somebody asks me a question, I just give whatever I would do in the situation. I try not to be too profound. Christine, hello, Facebook wasn't showing on my feed. Yeah, we were gone for a while, but we're back now. Also, my life is exponentially better and enjoyable. Good. Jaeger, I'm glad. Gotta make sure he's paid for his appearance. Yes. Oh wait, Gunnar, did you do something that I didn't see? What happened? Oh, you cashed in the points for See the Kitty. I appreciate you. Yeah, he worked hard. He was half asleep, but... Crystal, hello, welcome in. It's good. I'm catching up with chat. I'm going through. I know I'm a little bit behind. I'm catching up. That's as exciting as it gets. I got really excited when I could rent a car in Lucas's name instead of mine. Evening, yeah, the boy is back. That is also a thing that has happened. He returned just today. Oh, don't starve. So you're feeding yourself. That's good. Boom, advice, exactly. You started that, and then Lucas continued it. Always with the advice. See, I don't pretend like I know things. I just tell. If somebody asks me a question, I respond with what I would do in the situation. That's it. I don't try to be more profound than that. I'm going to Japan. That is a reality. Now, is that something you've planned, or is it something that you've decided you're going to do it, and then moving forward, that's the plan. You're gonna do that. Yeah, Maddie starved a lot last night, and Destiny lit a lot of things on fire. Luckily, we fixed most of that. I'm not sure if we got Maddie to stop starving by the end of the night, but otherwise, we. How was your trip? The tavern folk would like to know. Everett, how was your trip? The tavern folk would like to know, and if you say, okay, then I'm gonna come over there and give you a swirly. Okay, I had to go give the boy a swirly. Hang on a second.
I didn't say what you said I couldn't say.
He did have fun, though. He got to see his favorite cousin, and he got to spend some time with his great-grandparents.
For a whole day, nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, she lived up to her Scorch Queen title. Yes, indeed she did. Planned it for October. October is going to be cold in Japan. Wait. Am I right about that?
They're on the same hemisphere as we are.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah. So yes, it is going to be very cold in Japan around that time. But if you can go to any of the forest areas, Japan is really beautiful when it snows. Very beautiful. Oh yeah, Matty. We found out that Matty, at least in a hypothetical sense, is allergic to bees. Yesterday was fun to see. It's an interesting game for sure. Yeah, for anyone who's wondering what we're talking about, we did a community game day yesterday, and we played a little game called Don't Starve Together, and it is essentially a survival game where it's very adorable. It's very unique in the way that it's drawn, and Destiny and Sir Chatty Matty joined us. Esther, or I should say the ghost of Esther, hello, welcome in, it's good to see you. Matthew and I are doing well, thank you, and how are things with your work? I know you've been working a lot, I hope you are taking care of yourself, resting appropriately. That's why I haven't pestered you to be in here and barkeep, because I know you need to be taking care of yourself and sleeping appropriately. Yeah, well, this is the thing, it's a little survival game, but it's very cute, but it is deadly. Like, the game is very unforgiving. And everything hates you. I want to go during a fireworks festival in 2026 next year as well. We would like to do a cultural trip through Japan in the next year or so and go and make cultural videos in Japan.
It's not happening anytime soon.
Yes, there is a I don't know if I can say that on TikTok without getting banned. A place where people voluntarily leave the chat, I think is probably a safe way to say it for TikTok, because TikTok has been banning me for everything recently. There is a forest where you voluntarily leave the chat in Japan, and it is a very big one.
Oh.
It was absolute chaos. I actually switched to part-time. I'm too old now for those crazy hours. I can only imagine. Castle, I ask respectfully, how do I get myself out of the trenches, or do I just do it? I'm gonna come right back to you, Gunnar. Yeah, that's about the best way that you could have said it, Crystal. But yes, there's a forest there famous for that. The work culture in Japan is not copacetic to the way that human beings exist, and it's very hard on people. So the act of taking oneself out of the situation is very common in Japan, more common than it is in most places. Because of the heavy work culture. Fortunately, there are some cultural movements going on now that are correcting it, but for the last 80, 90 years or so, that's really how it's been. Jaeger says, Everett, shut your mouth, I'll drag you there.
Where?
To Japan.
Please.
Because you said it's not going to happen anytime soon.
From any limb, please.
I've heard of that forest, it's one of the wildest things I've ever heard about. Yeah, it is a crazy thing. And the entire time I just wanted to be in the tavern. Well, now you're back, and we have you. It's such a sad thought, that forest, and especially when you understand how Japanese culture looks at death, it's particularly sad in that context. I lost my stuff to the evil spiders, yes you did. Castle, my father visited Japan and described it as a wonderful place to visit. He noted the people were very friendly and welcoming. They are. They are if you are respectful. Much of Japan, they have a very hair's breadth of tolerance for foreigners. They don't particularly like foreigners, but if you're respectful, they're very happy to share their culture. And I think that that's perfectly a fine way to be. That's how you should be. If you're going to a new place, you should respect the people and culture going there. You should not impose yourself upon them, and you should do everything in your power to participate in and respect the cultures of the place you visit or the places you go to live. People do that same thing in Ireland and other places as well. And to be fair, a lot of people come to America and do the same thing here. So it's a common problem with human beings, but if you want to, there are some places that just don't like foreigners at all, but Japan is one of those places where if you're respectful, most of the time you'll have a pretty good time being there.
unless you get a wrong train. I've heard that's pretty annoying.
It can be. How are you and the family? We're doing good. The boy and mom are still sick, but the boy just got back from a trip to his great grandparents up north, and he had a good time. I'm Master Castle. I hope things are going well in the tavern. They're going quite well, Petra. Thank you. Petra, I just noticed that I missed a message from you in the Becoming Grown channel over in the guild. I'll address that this week. I'll get to you this week. That was the worst thing about most Americans that I saw in Japan. Yeah. Well, and because of that, tourism in Japan is changing. And it's not just Americans, there are people from all over the UK and other places that go to Japan and they treat it like a playground, and you should not go anywhere in the world and do that. It doesn't matter how much the culture is where you are. This is something we learned very young in my grandfather's family, is that I had to learn simple honorifics and greetings with my grandfather before I was allowed to be in an airport in Japan when I was a boy. I think I was 6 or 7 years old. We stopped off in Japan in an airport. We didn't even go into the country. We're just in an airport. Yeah, it's just they got a little bit of a summer cold, and they both have some. Where if they get congested, it sticks with them for a long time.
Got a summer cold. I got hit with my curse of if I mention any travel plans, I just become horrendously sick.
Yeah, he went to visit his great grandparents and his favorite cousin, and they had a good time. So
the day I mentioned that I am going, like I couldn't.
You should always strive to at least learn about the country you're going to before you should ever go. Yes, and for any of our friends who are from the outside of the United States, the same is true for states. If you're going to a particular state, every state in the United States has a very unique culture to itself. So you should try to learn about the local cousin, the local customs before you go. I read Jaeger typed favorite cousin. I read cousin as I was saying customs. Yeah, every single state in the United States is completely different. Matty made it over to Facebook. All right, now I want to address what Gunnar asked me. Could you be quiet? Stop it. I want to address what Gunnar had said. Gunnar said, Castle, I ask this respectfully, how do I get myself out of the trenches, or do I just do it? There are two stages to this. Yes, you do just have to do it, but you cannot do it on willpower alone. You have a very finite amount of willpower. Willpower is a powerful thing, but it is a finite resource. And if everything in your life is being done by sheer force of will, you're going to struggle, you're going to be tired, you're going to be worn out all the time. Some things have to become automatic. So you have to force yourself to start making certain things automatic so you're not wasting that energy on things that you don't need to actively be making decisions about all the time. The first step to getting out of the trenches is to have a structure in your life. And a lot of people don't like to hear this because we like to be wild and free and whatever it is. But the reality is human beings have infinite potential. But we really only live up to it when we are given some sort of restriction. When we have some sort of framework to direct our energy into is when human beings are most powerful and when we are most productive. You have to give yourself a framework with which to move forward. How do you want your life to be? Where do you want your life to go? Where in your life do you want to see yourself in the next month, 6 months, year, 5 years? You have to sit down and be honest with yourself about what you are doing poorly and what you can do well. And that is a very hard conversation you have to have with yourself, because if you're not honest, the framework will be useless. You have to be very, very honest with yourself when you go in and have this conversation. Because it's really easy to lie to yourself. I was disconnected from here and I'm unaware of what we're talking about. Sorry, Esther, I did address your last comment. Gunnar had asked how to get out of the trenches in his life, and whether or not it's something that he can do or whether he just has to force his way through and do it. And the reality is that you can just force yourself out of it, but to stay out of it, you have to continuously change. I came in at a very good time with the conversation. Ashley, hello, it's good to see you. Welcome in. But the reality is that everything you do in life is a decision, and this is a hard part about existing, is that everything you do in life is a decision, whether you choose to sit still and let the world flow around you, or whether you decide to go forward. The cliche of it in modern motivation culture has become you either pick the pain and discomfort of living a hard life through passivity, or you pick the pain of you either pick the pain of struggle or you pick the pain of discipline. No, you're all right, Esther. You didn't interrupt anything. I appreciate you asking the clarifying question. If ever you guys are confused, you should always ask. Frost, thank you. We can snooze that for a minute, and we'll come back to it here in a second. I've said this often. The natural state of man is poverty and struggle. If you are born without all of the things that our ancestors have built and all of the ideas and notions that our ancestors have come up with, if we didn't have those things, if you were a man born in the wild, your natural state of being would be poverty and struggle. You know, up until 160, 170 years ago, the natural state of man was to struggle. You had to wake up every morning and work all day just to have enough resources that you would survive the next day. That is our natural state. To rise above that, you have to use the tools that were handed to you by your blood, by the generations that came before you. So understanding that struggle should not make you sad, poverty should not make you sad because that is your natural state, but rising above that should make you happy because you are becoming more than your natural state of being. Thank you, Castle, my friend. I genuinely appreciate your words. I feel I have lied to myself for a long time, and therefore have no actual framework. I exist, and I do, and it does seem directed, if that makes sense. But I believe I need to stop refusing to talk to anyone, and I need to talk to myself. Well, and that's... Well, I don't necessarily just mean parents, Matty. It's... People without parents will struggle more, that's a reality. People without good parents will struggle more. But you have an entire history of humanity that you can learn from. Like, I offer the Becoming Grown channel in the guild so that people who want to become adults in our family's tradition can. And I'll be here as a point of advice and guiding wherever I can be. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an end-all be-all of wisdom and knowledge that I can guide people all the way through, but I will give the benefit of my life experience and the benefit of the experience of the elders who raised me. But the reality is that first you have to want that, and then you have to actively walk towards it. You have to decide that for your life you want to move forward, and you want the struggle of discipline, you want the struggle of building a structured life over the struggle of constantly having to react to the world, the struggle of struggle. And they are basically the same pain. It's just when you decide, oh, I'm going to let the world flow around me, you're letting things happen to you. Whereas when you pick the struggle of actively deciding the direction you want your life to go, you're deciding how prepared for those things you're going to be. You're deciding that I'm going to prepare for what might come, so that my struggle is in being prepared for the thing, rather than having to recover from the thing. Because when you live in a life of recovery, you're saying, I have to recover from every single thing that happens to me, rather than preparing for anything that might. And you're not going to be ready for everything. You're not going to have all the things figured out. Sometimes you're going to get knocked down so hard your ass is going to hurt for years. But you can still decide to get back up and be ready if it ever happens again. And again, like this is a lifelong commitment and struggle. And again, for anyone who wants to go through adulthood learning like we do with the children in my family, it's something that adults who marry into the family go through too. I have resources available and I'm willing to help anyone who wants the help. But it's a decision you have to make for yourself. I can't hold anyone's hand through it. You have to decide that's what you want for yourself. And go for it. Baird, hello my friend, it's good to see you. You and Castle are the only two who consistently make me feel welcome here. I thank you for that. Well, of course, Esther. Love to have you, love to see you. My cell is glitching a bit, Facebook chat, but I see you guys. Don't pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Photoshock, thank you for the subscription over on YouTube. Welcome in. I don't often quote television and movies because usually those are just quotes of old philosophies and so on. But one of the best portrayals of the difference between active faith and passive faith, as far as like what Christians believe, there was a really great line. I think it was in Evan Almighty, which is the sequel to the Jim Carrey movie Bruce Almighty, where Evan's wife is talking to Morgan Freeman, who plays God in the movie. And when she's talking to him, she's saying, I just wish that, these things would happen. And she's like, I prayed about it and I don't know what to do. And he goes, when you pray for strength, do you think God makes you strong, or he gives you opportunities to become stronger? When you pray for patience, do you think God gives you patience, or do you think he gives you opportunities to practice patience? And that is the reality, is that throughout life you will constantly be tested, whether you believe that's by God or gods or a god, or you believe it's random. The reality of human existence is you will be tested throughout your life, and you will have the opportunity to choose to become stronger, to choose to give yourself more patience, to choose to expand what we call in my family capacity. You have infinite ability. Your capacity is the funnel through which that goes. If your capacity is broad, you can handle a great many things. If it is narrow, you handle very little, even though you have this infinite ability underneath. Okay, and I've rambled for quite a while now. Gunnar, I hope that helped. Just kidding. I say hello to you every time you come in. Just been dealing with a lot recently and a lot of questions unanswered or description. I apologize for derailing the tavern tonight, but I appreciate you taking the time and addressing my question. Gunnar, none of you ever need to apologize for asking these questions. Again, I'm not the end-all be-all of wisdom and knowledge. I have lived a very extensive life of failure and mistakes and recoveries, and I was deeply fortunate to have the upbringing that I had. But I'm more than happy to help anybody work through it, because I've been through a lot of these things already, and I want all of you to succeed in your life. Any one of you who comes across the tavern, I want nothing more than for your story when you depart from here to be a happy one, so you can bring it back to me. I want to hear about successes and failures, and I want to hear about you being happy in those successes and failures because you were prepared for them. That's really my reality in it. Yeah, we need to let Twitch run the ads, or else they're gonna keep bugging me about it. But we're gonna run 3 minutes of ads on Twitch, and then we're gonna start story time.
I'm okay.
It's something like that, I think. Well, I didn't see what you said before that, Crystal. Don't pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Yeah, absolutely. Something like that. Twitch is being persistent. Thank you, Frost. I appreciate you, brother. We get derailed 9,000 times a stream. It's part of stream, right? I'm so thankful for the tavern in my life. Again, with what's going on in my life right now, I'm scared my access to food might be lessened despite my rent agreement. Well, Matty, if it's something that you need assistance with, I'll see if there's anything that we can help with. This should be called Rants Ramble Storytime. Yeah, that would be more accurate. The world needs more people like you. Well, I don't know about that, actually. let's not jump too far into that. But I'm happy to be the me that that does. Because again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm a good person. I would never want to. I hear coughing to match my own hearing. How's it going? But mine is herbally induced. Yeah, not herbally induced, but herbally healed.
Herbally spiked.
Yeah. I hope Everett feels better soon. I hope he does too. Everybody's saying they hope you feel better soon.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want anybody to think that I'm a good person because I have been a terrible man in my past. And I've made a great many bad decisions.
Oh.
And I will never apologize for the bad that I have done because it's what I did. If I am ashamed of who I was, I cannot be proud of who I am. But I endeavor to be a better man than I was yesterday. And I don't know if that makes me a good man, but at the very least, I hope that I am better today than I was yesterday. Crystal says, I'm getting teary-eyed over here. Who would have ever thought that a chat room of strangers could become a resource of advice, peace, companionship, and support? I am grateful to be here and thankful for you all. I'm grateful for you as well, Crystal, and I'm glad that you feel that happy and comfortable here. Marissa, hello, love, good to see you. I saw you weren't feeling well. I hope you're feeling better. Bear, are you not taking care of yourself again? How are you feeling? It's just been hard to wrap my head around the family I've built the past 10 years grow and move past me. To be told I am unwanted by someone who is having to fight for their life puts a perspective on what you bring to the table. To be demoted in the way I have has just been a hard pill to swallow. Just being present but having to be absent is very difficult. Castle, I will top up my subscription when it expires. I do not like the ads. Alright, Esther. I appreciate you for the support. Yeah, he's accountability. I'm not sure what you're saying, but I always agree with accountability, Destiny. I'm not sure what that's in response to, but Castle, that's all that matters. But also understanding why they would leave, understanding why I am here is difficult for me because I've let go of so much. But you learned the lesson and grew from those bad decisions. I at least try. Again, I'm in no way perfect. I'm far from perfect. But I do my best.
I'm just gonna go take a walk and forget you guys exist.
Yeah, and that's pass. You are a good man. I say so because it's true. Don't argue with a grumpy old man. I'd never argue with a grumpy old man. Early stages of the flu. That's what happened to the boy. Make sure you're resting and drinking plenty of water. And I don't mean water with hops in it, Bear. Plenty of water. But what matters is who you are now. I appreciate that, Petra. I mean, that's not the common notion that is taken in the 21st century. We tend to hold people's pasts over their heads. I always bring up the fact that I've notoriously been a very bad person throughout my life because I don't want anybody to be surprised if you hear something terrible about me. I was a very bad man for a very long time. I've paid for a lot of the things that I did. And some of the things, of course, you get away with, but that's how the universe works. Bear is being a roadway for trucks. Let's hope not. Goblins beware, Sage is here. Sage, how you doing, my friend? It's been a while since I've seen you in. I hope you're feeling alright. How goes the new book? Castle, Johnny's cough is considerably worse. I am wearing a mask, which I do not particularly like. Last year, I was severely ill for 3/4 of a year. However, it recovers. Warm honey and nettle tea are helpful remedies. Yeah. He'll be on a full tea regimen now that he's home. I hit enter before I finished typing and then my fingers refused to type. It's alright. And I bummed my arm. Lab work done on Monday, but my arm still hurts to move. Just make sure you're resting it and taking care. Make sure that you ice and warm, because that will help it heal quickly, my friend. Your past is what builds you, not what defines you. I agree with that completely, Frost. In that mindset, is this all penance then? May not spell that right. You know me well, Castle. I am topping up my hops water with electrolyte water. Good, good. I don't believe in penance. I take very much the Christian perspective on penance. I think that what you put out into the world comes back to you. If you are passive and lazy and dismissive of your own life, then the world will be passive, dismissive, and lazy around you. Very few of us get through this life without doing something questionable. I agree, Molly. I agree. I just try to be honest about it, so that because I don't like to present myself as some wholesome saint, because I'm not. I don't want people to think that I'm presenting myself that way, and I'm not. I do care about people. I love humanity, but I also have a great many of my own problems that I've gone through, and I've, again, never been, nor will I ever be perfect. Black, you said, I'm working on getting a motorcycle license, a bit worried. Just be careful. Motorcycle licenses are fun, but driving a motorcycle is a dangerous thing. You can get hurt very easily because people are morons in general.
Don't tell me you're spending
So just be careful.
on a realm. No, I forgot you told him, bro. I forgot you told him.
Crystal, hope your tomorrows have 3 more spirals than yesterday. Yes, indeed. I am also keeping well away from Mom so she doesn't get sick. That's good, Bear.
Hey, I don't regret it, bro. I got good. I won the gamble, bro.
The first draft of book 2 is almost done. Only 8 to 7 chapters left to write, and then 9 hells of editing. 285,000 words as well. Some other projects slowly coming together good. Well, karma as it exists in its origin is a thing about being reborn, right? Like, karma doesn't come back to you in your own life. Karma comes back to you in your next life. Is how karma works. But I do believe that what you put out into the world comes back to you. And I do believe in the energetic aspect of that. And if you do not take your own life seriously, then the things that happen in your life will be reflective of that. And a lot of us will go out into the world thinking we're taking our life seriously, but what is happening is we are...
Hell no.
What is happening is we are
My man, if I play with you guys.
playing the game in a passive way that is hurting us. And because we're doing something, we feel like we're being active. But the reality is doing something is not the same thing as being productive. The metaphor I give to the young men who I mentor in the guild, Everett. Shh. They can't listen to me and you at the same time. And your coughing is already distracting enough, so shoot.
Sounds worse than it is. I'm okay.
Court, hello, good evening, my friend. Santana the Legend has appeared. Crystal says, as a rider myself, keep your head on a swivel and dress for the slide, not for the ride. Exactly. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is, always wear riding leathers. Always. My whole family are riders, I've been told. Yeah, so you've got a lot of people with a lot of experience. Don't pick up any bad habits, because seasoned riders tend to have a lot of bad habits. But book 1 is selling rather well. Sold 40 this last month, so 213 altogether, with 253 reviews. Very good. I hope you don't catch the cough, Castle. I hope so too, but we'll see. Sounds like he's half coughing, half gagging. He is. Train of thought derailed from coughs. Yes. A wild Santana has appeared. Just take Pigsy, for example. Are you talking about Pigsy from
No.
from Wukong, from Journey to the West? Yes, everything in life should always be hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That should be everything. Riding horses of dragon. Oh, and always a full face helmet. Always. I worked as an EMT very briefly, and while I was working as an EMT, I saw a gentleman and his girlfriend who fell off of a motorcycle at 70 miles an hour wearing shorts and t-shirts and no riding gloves, and it was dreadful.
Yes.
Poor Everett, he sounds terrible. He does sound pretty bad, but he's actually feeling much better than he did when he left.
Okay.
Congratulations, you caught a Santana. Want to give him a nickname? Call him a car guy. Gunnar, if you'd like to have a more in-depth conversation about like practical steps that you can take for getting yourself back on track, I'll be happy to set aside some time for you to do so, if that's something that you'd like. All I ask is that if you take the time to have me go through these things with you, that you at least try to implement. And I'm not somebody who believes in try. You either do or you don't. But I would like to see you at least try to implement the things we talk about. If you would like to take the time to sit down and talk about it. Because then you can give me a little bit more of the specific information about what's going on with your situation. And I can give you more specific advice on that.
So you remember this one, right?
That's a good way of looking at it. I didn't get this far to only get this far. Damn right.
These classics. These two are their peak.
I was about to say, we don't say try, yeah. Because I don't believe that you can try at something. I believe that you can make an attempt at something, and you can do it incorrectly or you can do it correctly. But the reality is that when you are putting in a concerted effort, you either do well or you do poorly. That's it. There is no trying at it. If you did poorly, you can either decide to give up, in which case you fail, or you can try again with the knowledge you have from having done it poorly to try and do it better. The only failure is quitting, and there is no such thing as trying. You either do it until you've learned how to do it well, or you do it, decide you don't want to do it, you failed at it, and you move on. That's it. Well, and this is something that I teach the people who are going through adulthood trials and who are going through self-improvement that I mentor over in the guild, is that you get the result that you work for. And this is a hard thing for a lot of people to hear, because if you work for something and it's not what you expected, you feel like you've been wronged. But the reality is every single time you put an effort into something, you will get the result that you have worked for. If it's bad, if it's terrible, if it's not something that you expected, that's the result that you worked for. So you have to re-examine the work that you did and figure out why that's the result that you got. But the good news is that also means that if you get something that is great, that's what you worked for. You earned it. And even failure isn't a bad thing. Failure means you made an attempt, right? The only reason why failure is ever a bad thing is if you let it put you off from doing anything. If you let failure be the stopping point for doing things, then it is a bad thing. But failure can show you what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Heard a line the other day that said, "The painful trials are true training you need to make it through the next thing." Absolutely. That is the reality of being a human being. Mama always said there's no such thing as can't. You can, it just depends on the effort you put in. Absolutely true, Ashley. Absolutely true. Do or do not, there is no try, absolutely. I was not expecting a gift subscription. I'm very appreciative. Did Bear gift you a sub? I didn't even see. Why is that not showing up for me? But thank you. Nothing popped up for me, but I appreciate you guys. Elizabeth, hello, welcome in. I'm only halfway through book 1, Sage. I have to get to Sage's book. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I have a tattoo that says, "Win any battle. To win any battle, you must fight as if you're already dead." And I love it. It inspires me to fight more from what I want to accomplish. Yeah, absolutely. It didn't go through for Bear. Oh, I see.
Yes, Yes, there is, bro. $45.
Huh.
What did you get?
Well then.
Brother, Dark Souls.
I was actually just talking to Una about this while we were out.
What do you mean, why?
One of my favorite lines is from, I think it's from Rocky 2. He's training with the guy who he had fought in the first movie. And he's getting tired, he's getting worn down, and the guy's hitting him. And Rocky says, no, I'll do it tomorrow, we'll do more tomorrow. And the guy yells at him, there is no tomorrow. You don't have a tomorrow. You're 40 years old, there is no tomorrow. You have today. And you really have to live as if there is no tomorrow. And that doesn't mean live recklessly, that doesn't mean live like you're throwing everything away. But it means that you have to live happy, and you have to concert your efforts. Apollo Creed, there you go. You have to live as though your efforts today are only going to affect today. So you have to enjoy your life today. You have to prepare everything that you've done for today. And a lot of people don't. I know things aren't easy for you at the moment. Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't even get the notification on Twitch, which is weird. Because normally I would get it on Twitch, but it didn't come through.
I'm not doing this.
I don't know, but I appreciate you both for it. Thank you. Wake up, glad that you're on the right side of the grass. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very happy with the short time I got to spend with you guys. I appreciate the wise words. Until next time. Goodbye, Ashley. I'm sorry you didn't get any story tonight. I'm going to start reading right now. But I appreciate you for dropping in. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Candy Crush is the revolution.
Oh, it's because her sub hasn't expired yet. That's probably why. Oh, live like you're dying. Yes, absolutely. Milo, absolutely. Yeah, if she still has an existing sub for a while, it won't let you renew it. It's silly. You should be able to, but that's just the way that Twitch works. I don't understand why they do it that way, but that's the way that they do it. All right, friends, let's go ahead and get into story time. We're almost through this book. Look at this. We don't have that much room left to go. And when we last left off, they were in Elvendar. Arutha...
Just for you to hear the noise.
Things don't grow without rain, exactly. Yes, I am going to read a bedtime story now. I know, I was on such a long ramble. I'm sorry. Keep moving forward. If all you can do is crawl, crawl. If all you can do is roll, roll. Walk, run, shuffle, whatever it is, keep moving. Is something my drill sergeant said to us in basic, and that stuck with me to this day. And that's the truth. Again, the natural state of human beings is struggle and poverty. If you want to rise above that, you have to be powerful and persistent. And you have that ability in you. It doesn't matter what the context of your birth is. Doesn't matter what society tells you you are advantaged or disadvantaged. None of that matters because none of it is true. The sole determination of what you will accomplish is your persistence to do so. And yes, you may not accomplish as much as other people around you, but if you look at the context of your life and you're real with yourself, there is nothing within that context that you cannot accomplish. I also have a weird view on hope, but I will let you read and we'll talk about it another time. All right, Gunnar. As Dory said, just keep swimming, exactly. Speaking of, life is demanding. All too early. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your night and tomorrow. Good night, Kristen. Thank you for dropping in. We're glad that you came in. I'm sorry you didn't get any story. Again, I know I was on one tonight. All right, let's begin. When we last left off, they had just met Thomas's child, the child of Queen Aguilarana and Thomas, and they had just learned what Silverthorn is, and that it exists in a land just outside of Elvendar where the Brotherhood of the Dark Path lives, and that the elves are forbidden from going there. So, we're picking up right after they met Callus, who is the son of Queen Aglarana and Martin.
Chaoses.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit Hawaii around 3:50 tomorrow morning, Easter time. I know, I hope everyone stays safe. I'm in Kentucky, but I know weather hasn't been kind to anyone this year. I hope everyone stays safe. Yeah, absolutely.
Santa Barbara and over here by us got a tsunami watch warning.
Oh, did we?
We did.
Okay, so we did get a tsunami warning. We're majorly inland, but something I'm grateful for at the moment is my Black Dragon Tavern hoodie. It's keeping me nice and warm. I appreciate the merch plug there, Bear. Yes, if you would like to pick up any Black Dragon Tavern merchandise for adventurers only, you can go grab some in the tavern shop.
It is cozy, actually. I like it too.
Did I say, yeah, Tomas, not Martin. I read Martin here. Yes, the son of Tomas and Queen Aglarana. Thank you very much. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate you there. Yes, we had 2 very large destructive tornadoes in the last 2 days. Yeah, the earthquakes cause major things. That reminds me, I need a hoodie. We'll be visiting the shop tomorrow. Appreciate you, Gunnar. Thank you kindly, my friend. Oh, you're inland now? Yeah, I might have beachfront property tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm inland right now, but well, it could be beachfront tomorrow. No, we're a long way from the water. It would have to be a really big wave to get to us.
Yeah, like the wave that would flood LA.
Yeah, it would literally have to be one that would wipe most of Southern California off the map to get to us. Property value would skyrocket, which would be interesting for California, because property values are already through the roof. So,
You want a house in Malibu? Good luck.
I appreciate you, Frost. Thank you, my friend. They are awesome and snuggly. I don't even need to hawk tavern merchandise. Bear and Ashley and Destiny pretty much do it for me. I need to get more, honestly. Alright, let's continue, my friends.
This is worse than Spectrum. If it's in the sky.
I can give you thumb screws to fix the stick drift.
I'm going to make my controller bounce off of the ground like it's on a trampoline. Oh my god. Meek, you think your stick drift's bad? My controller will just basically turn itself.
That is true. By the way, Frost, do I still have your permission to read that for a video? I meant to do it ages ago, but pretty much right after we had all of the writing competitions and you sent me that was when the magic box started failing. So, Johnny purchased some beautiful jumpers for me this year. Unfortunately, I was unable to purchase them here. It's alright, Esther. I appreciate the effort. I was talking to the boy, so I had to mute Elizabeth. He was being loud and rambunctious.
I'm proving a point that my friends are war criminals in Minecraft, and that's why it's a bad game and why I don't play.
Tornado in Watertown made national news. It was nuts. I did see some news notifications about it. You most certainly do, and the ad I wrote too, excellent. Thank you, Frost. I appreciate you.
Seeing high too many times.
Okay, shh. Silence in the
Oh my god.
peanut gallery.
What's happening with this? Okay, it's flashing orange. That's gotta do something, right?
I don't know.
What's happening? It's full battery. It's not plugged in. Is my controller as stupid as my friends? I'm surrounded by stupid things.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. You know what? Silence is.
It was a struggle in silence. You can call me anything. I prefer to call you Frost. Although it is not lost on me that you are a major Chad and that your name is actually Chad. So those things are appreciated. All right, friends, let's begin. Martin sat alone, enjoying the first evening of his first visit to Elvendar in a year. As much as any place, even Castle Crydy, this was his home. For as a boy, he had played and been one of the elven children. Soft elven footsteps caused him to turn. Galen, he said, happy to see the young elf, cousin of Callan. He was Martin's oldest friend. They embraced, and Martin said, I expected to see you sooner. I've just returned from patrolling along the northern edge of the forest. Some strange things are going on up there. I hear you may have some light to shed on what they may be. A small candle flicker, perhaps, said Martin. Some evil is at play there. I've no doubt. He filled Galen in, and the young elf said, Terrible deeds, Martin. He sounded genuinely sorry to hear about Anita. Your brother? The question, in elvish fashion, carried a variety of nuances in the intonation, each concerning itself with a different aspect of Arutha's trials. He perseveres, somehow. He puts it all out of his mind, sometimes. Other times he's nearly overwhelmed by it. I don't know how he keeps from going mad. He loves us so very deeply. Martin shook his head. You've never wept, Martin. Why? Martin shrugged. I've never met her. You are sad. Ruth is a difficult man at times, but he is my brother, and I remember him as a child. Even then it was hard to get close to him. Perhaps it was his mother's death, when he was still so young. He kept things distant, for all the toughness, for all the hard edges. He's easily hurt. You two are much alike. There is that. Martin agreed. Elaine stood quietly next to Martin a while. We shall help as much as we can. We must go to Moralin. The young elf shivered, an unusual display even in one so inexperienced. That is a bad place, Martin. It is called the Black Lake for a reason. That has nothing to do with the colour of the water. It is a well of madness. The Mordrell go there to dream dreams of power. It lies on the dark path. It was a Valheru place? Galen nodded, yes. Tomas. Again, the question carried a variety of meanings. Galen was especially close to Tomas, having followed him during the Rift War. He will not go with you. He has a new son. Callus will be tiny for so short a time, only a few years. A father should spend that time with his baby. Also, there is the risk. Nothing more needed to be said, for Martin understood. He had watched the night Tomas had almost succumbed to the mad spirit of the Valheru within him. It had nearly cost Martin his life. it would be some time before Tomas felt secure enough to challenge his own heritage, to again awaken that dread being contained within, and he would venture into Valheru, a Valheru place of power, only when he felt the circumstances were grave enough to justify the risk. So I'm going to pause here for a second. Valheru are dragon kin. They are dragonborn individuals in this world. Peanut Gallery, my dad used to say that to me. That's where I got it from. My father and mother used to say it all the time as well. But the Valheru are essentially dragonborn. They are the ancestors of the elves in this world. They essentially made the elves, and they are sort of like... It's not super clear what they are, but they are essentially like the demigods and early gods of this world, and they are akin to dragons. Give me a second, friends. Alright. Sorry, friends, I have returned. I am back. Well, after you eat something real, you haven't had any real food today.
Too cold.
You need protein. You're withering away to nothing.
It's too cold in there.
Good lord, child.
I'm not built for the freezing.
Ah.
If I stick my hand in there, I freeze to death.
That's alright, Maddie. Take your time, brother. Kayla, hello. Good to see you. The people is here. I'm sorry. I was up taking care of something. I'm back now. The whine in his voice. Okay, where were we? Martin smiled his crooked smile. Then we shall go alone. We humans of meager talents. Ghislaine returned the smile. You are many things, so I doubt your talents meager. Then he lost the smile. Still, you would do well to take counsel with the spellweavers before you go. There is dark power in Moralaine, and magic overcomes much in the way of strength and courage. Turned the stream on to kill battery. Well, I am glad that you made it in. My cat is currently a burrito for his safety. He is 22. That's very old for a cat. Okay. Alright. We're good. Okay. Martin said, "We will. We speak soon." He looked to where an elf approached, Arutha and the others behind. "I think now. Will you come?" "I have no place in the circle of elders. Besides, I have not eaten for a day. I will rest. Come talk if you need." "I will." Martin hurried to join Arutha. They followed the elf, who led the humans back to the council. When all were seated before Aglarana and Tomas, the queen said, "Tatha, speak for the spellweavers. Say what counsel you have for Prince Arutha." Tathar stepped into the center of the court circle and said, "Strange things have been occurring for some turns of the middle moon.
Yeah, I told you. It sounds worse than it.
We expected a southward movement of the Mordrell and goblins back to the homes they were driven from during the Rift War. But that has not come to be. Our scouts in the north have tracked many bands of goblins heading across the great northern mountains into the Northlands. Mordrell scouts have come unusually close to our borders. The Gwali have come to us again because they say they don't like the place they lived in anymore. It is hard to make sense of them at times, but we know they came from the north. What you have told us, Prince Arutha, causes us deep concern. First, because we share your sorrow. Second, because the manifestations you tell us now bespeak of a power of great evil with a long reach and far-flung minions. But most of all, because of our own ancient history. Long before we drove the Mordrell from our forests for taking the dark path of power, the elven people were one. Those of us who lived in the forests were farther from our masters, the Velheru, and because of this, were less attracted to the intoxication of the power dreams. Those of us who lived close to our masters were seduced by those dreams and became the Mordrell. Moradel, I'm sorry I was saying that wrong, Moradel. He looked to the Queen and to Moss, and both nodded. What is little spoken is cause of our divorcement from the Moradrel, who once were our blood. Never before has any human been told all. In the dark era of the Chaos Wars, many changes in the lands occurred. From the people of the elves, 4 groups arose. Martin leaned forward, for as much as he knew of elvenkind, more than almost any man alive, this was all new to him. Until this moment, he had always believed that the Moradel and elves were the sum total of elvenkind. The most wise and powerful, numbering the greatest spellweavers and scholars, were the Eldar. They were the caretakers from all that their works, their masters had plundered from across the cosmos. Arcane works, mystical knowledge, artifacts, and riches. It was they who first began fashioning what is now Elvandar, lending it magic. They vanished during the Chaos Wars, for they were among the Master's first servants, and it was supposed that they, being very close to them, they perished with them. Of the Elves and Brotherhood of the Dark Path, the Eledhel and Moredhel in our tongue, you know something. But there are yet other kin of ours, the Glamredhel, which name means the chaotic ones or mad ones, and they were changed by the Chaos Wars, becoming a nation of insane savage warriors. For a time, elves and Moradil were one, and both were warred upon by the Mad Ones. Even after the Moradil were driven from Elvandar, they remained the sworn enemy of the Gram Redhel. We speak little these days, for you must remember that while we speak of Eledel and Moradil and Glamredel, all elvenkind is one race. Even to this day, it is simply that some of our people have chosen a dark way of life. Martin was astonished. For all he knew of elven culture, he had, like other humans, always supposed the Moradel a race apart, related to elves, but somehow different. Now he realized why the elves had always been reticent in discussing their relationship with the Moradel. They saw them as being one with themselves. In an instant, Martin understood. The elves mourned the loss of their brothers to the Lord of the Dark Path. Tathar continued. Our lore tells of the time when the last great battle in the north was fought. When the armies of Moradel and their goblin servants at last crushed the Glamredhel, the Moradel rampaged, obliterating our mad cousins in a terrible war of genocide. Even to the smallest infant, the Glamredel were supposedly slaughtered lest they again rise and challenge the supremacy of the Moradel. It is the single blackest shame in the memory of our race that one segment of our people utterly destroyed another. He's my literal child, Castle. I've had him for 19 years. That is incredible. And good for him. I bet he's lived quite the happy life. Thank you, Baird. I appreciate you. If you have a song or shanty request, I'm ready to write them down for the break. Yes, anyone, if you have song requests for the break, which is coming up here soon, we'll do it at the end of this chapter, which is, I think, a couple of pages off. Yeah, we have 3 pages left in the chapter, then we're going to take a break. If you have any shanties you would like to hear, let Baird know, and he'll put you on the list. All right, where were we? But what concerns you is this. At the heart of the Moradel host stood a company called the Black Slayers. Moradel warriors who had renounced their mortality to become monsters, but with but one purpose, to kill for their master. Once dead, the Black Slayers rise again and do their master's bidding. Once risen from the dead, they may be halted only by magic means, by utterly destroying the body or cutting the hearts from out of their bodies. Those who rode against you. Don't unplug that.
Why?
Don't unplug it.
Why?
Don't unplug it.
Why?
Stop.
Oh wait, it's not turned off yet.
It's not turned off yet, and you're going to create all kinds of problems with the stuff that is installed on that one.
No. It completely
Where was I?
It will have to be borrowed for like 3 seconds. Oh wait, no, we can't. 3 seconds.
Those who rode against you on the road before Sarth were Black Slayers, Prince Arutha. Before the Battle of Obliteration, the Moradel had already gone far down the dark path, but something caused them to descend to these new depths of horror. The Black Slayers and the genocide, they had become a tool of an insane monster, a leader who sought to emulate the vanished Velheru and bring all in the world under his dominion. It was he who had gathered the Moradel under his banner, and who had given them rise to abomination that was the Black Slayers. But in the last battle, he was wounded unto death, and with his passing, the Moradel ceased to be a nation. His captains gathered and sought to determine a successor. They quickly fell out of one another and became much like the goblins. Tribes, clans, families, but never able to combine under one leader for long. The siege of Karst Keep, 50 years past, was but a skirmish compared to the might of the Moradel clustered underneath this leader. But with his passing, an era of Moradel might have come to an end. For he was unique, a charismatic hypnotic being of strange abilities, able to weld the Moradel into a nation. Their leader's name was Mermandamus, Arutha said. Is it possible he somehow returned? Anything may be possible, Prince Arutha, or so it seems to one who has lived as long as I, answered Tathor. Bear, thank you for ordering the special Green Man's Drought for Frost. Frost, enjoy your gifted sub, brother. Thank you, Bear. Tips to the top and keep it always appreciated, my friend. It may be that one who seeks to unite the Moradel by invoking that ancient name, gathering them together under one banner. Did you know a BLT is actually not a bacon sandwich, but a tomato sandwich? It makes sense. Gunnar, that makes sense. I'm a meat popsicle. Hey, I appreciate a Fifth Element reference. We love Fifth Element in this tavern. Don't we, Lovey? Chicken good. Sorry, the dog did a no-no on the floor. That's all right, Maddie. There is definitely something you want to take care of as quickly as possible. Big bada boom, yes indeed. all the big bada booms. Alright, where was I? Then there is this business of the serpent priests, so despised by the Pantathians that even the Moradel slaughter them when they find them. But that one of them is a servant of Mermandamus hints at dark alliances. It warns us we may be facing forces beyond our expectations. If the nations of the north are rising, we all must again face a testing, one which will rival that of the outworlders in peril of our peoples. Baru stood in Hadati fashion, indicating he wished to speak. Tethar inclined his head in Baru's direction, and he said, take a sip here real quick. That reference is super green. Yes, it is. Just realized that Zorg in Fifth Element is also Sirius Black in Harry Potter. Yeah, he's an amazing actor. He's in so many things and he's good in all of them. Where was I? Of Moradrill, lore my people know. They say that the Dark Brothers are enemies of our blood. This much I may add. Marad is counted as a great chieftain, perhaps the greatest living today. One who might command many hundreds of warriors. That he serves the Black Slayers speaks to Marmandamus's power. Marad would serve only one whom he feared, and one who could visit fear upon Marad is one to be feared indeed. Arutha said, as I told the Ashapians, much of this is speculation. I must be concerned with finding Silverthorn. But even as he uttered those words, Arutha knew he was speaking falsely. Too much indicated that the threat from the north was real. This was no rash of goblin raids on northern farmers. This was a potential for invasion surpassing that of the Surani. In the face of this, his refusal to set aside all considerations, except finding a cure for Anita, was shown for what it was, an obsession. They may be one and the same, Highness, said Aglorana. What seems to be unfolding here is a madman's desire to gather the Moradel and their servants and allies under his dominion. To do so, he must bring a prophecy to fruition. He must destroy the bane of darkness. And what has he accomplished? He has forced you to come to the one place he is certain to find you. Bear, thank you for ordering this special for Sir Chatty Matty. Matty, enjoy your subscription. Bear, thank you for your kindness. Tips to the Tavern Keeper are always appreciated. Let's run a short ad here real quick. No, yeah, we'll run a short one. We'll do the 60 seconds. Then we'll be back. And then when we go on break, I'll run a longer one so we have the full hour. So, 60 seconds for anyone who does not have a subscription over on Twitch. And we only have two and a half pages left. And we'll be there. Bear, your generosity is deeply appreciated, brother. Thank you kindly. Trying to keep the advertising overlords from keeping folk from coming into the tavern. And to anyone who's dropped in while my head was down, welcome, my friends. For anyone who is new, I am Castle. This is my tavern, and here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore. And every now and again, I read you all a bedtime story. Tonight we are in Silverthorn by Raymond E. Feist, and we are working our way through the end of the book, which means we may very well have a new book on our hand here soon. We're on page 243, and the book goes to 343. We're literally 100 pages from the end. Which, at the rate we go, that's probably about 5 story sessions. We usually do about 20 pages a night. So by the end of August, we might have we might need a new book. I did 60 seconds. Why is this it's being butted? Thank you, Herring. I appreciate you. Alright, where were we? Jimmy sat upright, his eyes wide. He's waiting for you, he blurted, ignoring protocol. He's at the Black Lake. Laurie and Rold put their hands upon his shoulder in reassurance. Jimmy sat back, looking embarrassed. Tathar said, From the lips of youth, I and the others have considered, and in our judgment, that is what must be occurring. Arutha, since the gift of the Ashapian talisman, Mamandamus must devise another way to find where you are, or he risks his alliances dissolving. The Moridrel are much as others. They need to raise crops and tend herds. Should Mamandamus tarry over long in bringing the prophecy to fruition, they may desert him, save for those who have taken dark vows, such as the Black Slayers. His agents will have passed word that you have quit Sarth, and by now intelligence from Krondor will tell him that you are upon a quest for that which will save your princess. Yes, he will know you seek Silverthorn, and he, or one of his captains, such as Murad, will be waiting for you at Morelen. Bear's over here like Oprah. You get a sub. You get a sub. Yeah, I would watch Australian Oprah, I'm not going to lie. Especially if it was Bear. He's like, you get a spider. You get a spider. Take a roo. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. The idea came into my head and I thought it was very funny. And like none of the wildlife. That's what they have in Australia, Destiny. You don't be ungrateful. I do my best, Esther. I do my best. Tyson, I don't know if I saw you coming. I don't know if I said hello, but hello, Tyson. Look under your chair. Look under your chair. Everyone's got a spider. Oprah Bear, yeah, that's very funny. A koala, please. Yes, I know they can be vicious. They very often are. I'll take a high five and maybe a coffee gift card. Oh, that's not very Australian, though. Drop bears are scary AF. Yes, indeed they are. Bear doesn't like the spiders either. That's why you're giving them away, Bear. You're giving them to everybody else. That's why on your late night Australian Oprah show, you give them to everybody else. Yeah, that is also something that's terrifying about koalas. Koalas just in general are pretty frightening creatures. Okay. Arutha and Martin looked at each other, and Martin shrugged. We never thought it would be easy. Arutha regarded the Queen, Tomas, and Tathar. Thank you for the gift sub to Herring. I appreciate you, brother. Herring, enjoy your green man's drought there. Oh. Spiders freak me out. One place we lived had cricket spiders. Super creepy and they jump. Yeah, cricket spiders are indeed very creepy. Ashley. Arutha regarded the Queen, Tomas, and Tathar. My thanks for your wisdom, but we will go to Mora Lane. Arutha looked up as Martin came to stand nearby. Brooding? Asked the older brother. Just considering things, Martin. Martin sat next to Arutha at the edge of a platform near the rooms they'd been given. In the night, Elvendar glowed with a faint light, a phosphorescence that kept the elven city cloaked in a soft magic. What are the things you're considering? That I may have let my preoccupation with Anita get in the way of my duty. Martin said. Doubt. Well then, you reveal yourself at last. Listen, Arutha, I've had doubts about this journey from the start. But if you let doubt block you, nothing gets done. You must simply make your best judgment and act. And if I get it wrong, then you're wrong. Arutha lowered his head until it rested against the wood rail. The problem is one of stakes. When I was a child, if I was wrong, I lost a game. Now I could lose a nation. Perhaps. But it will still doesn't change that you need to make your best judgment and act. Things are getting out of hand. I wonder if it might not be best to just return to Yabon and order Vandross's army into the mountains. Yeah, that might do it. But then there are places 6 may go, an army may not. Arutha smiled a wry smile. Not very many. Martin returned the smile, almost a mirror image. True. But still, there are 1 or 2. From what Ghislaine said about Moralaine, stealth and cunning will be more important than strength. What if you marched Vandross's army up there and found Moralaine lay just on the other side of a lovely road like the one up at the Abbey at Sarth? Remember, the one Gardan avowed could be held by half a dozen grannies with brooms. I'll warrant Mermandamus was more than half a dozen grandmothers up there. Even if you could battle Mermandamus's horde and win, could you order 1 soldier to give his life so Anita could live? No. You and this Mermandamus play a game for high stakes. Still a game. As long as Mermandamus thinks he can lure you up to Moralaine, we have a chance of stealing it and getting Silverthorn. Bear koalas will give you chlamydia. Then Oprah Bear says, "Marry the spider." Bear, I hope you know I'm just poking fun, brother. What about me? I heard my name when I was... No, I just saw you were laughing, and I just noted that I noticed you laughing. Alright. Where was I? Arutha looked at his brother. We do, he asked, already knowing the answer. Of course. As long as we don't spring the trap, it remains open. That is the nature of traps. If they don't know we're already inside, we might even get out. He spent a quiet moment looking northward and then said, It's so close. It's just up in those mountains. A week from here, no more. It's so close. He laughed at Arutha. It would be a shame to come so close and quick, Arutha said. You're mad. Perhaps, said Martin. Just think, it's so close. Arutha had to laugh. All right, we leave tomorrow. What are you whining about? Come out. Cats. The 6 riders set out the next morning with the blessing of the Elf Queen and Tomas. Callan, Ghislaine, and 2 other elves ran alongside the horsemen. As they lost sight of the Queen's court, Naguali swung along through the trees, crying, Callan! The elf prince signaled a halt, and the Gwali dropped from the branches and grinned at them. Huh? Well, I've been fuzzy as long as you've known me. Huh? I know. part of why you love me, isn't it? Good night, Mary Beth. I hope those who are ill or in pain feel better soon. Thank you kindly. If you want to stick around to the end of the chapter, we've got literally just there you will find the silverthorn. It is a plant like a light silver green leaf with three lobes, with a red like holly fruit, with a fruit like red holly berries. You will recognize it at once, for its name describes it. And silver are the thorns. If nothing else, get a handful of the berries. It will lie close to the edge of the lake. Now go, and may the gods protect you. With brief farewells, the six riders moved off. Martin and Baru in the lead, Ruther and Lottie following, Jimmy and Rold bringing up the rear. As they followed to turn, Jimmy glanced back until he could no longer see the elves. He turned, eyes forward, knowing that they were now on their own, without allies or haven. He had a silent prayer to Bana and took a deep breath. And so ends chapter 14 of Silverthorn. Return is the next chapter, and it is exactly 20 pages long. So I think we can probably get through that tonight. Oh, I thought it was because of the spider mention. No, 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 no. I'm okay with huntsmen. They help keep the flies, mozzies, and other spiders away. Yeah, it's funny because the huntsmen are the ones people are mostly scared about. Okay, we ended just in time there. I'm going to run the long ad so Twitch stops being a jerk about it. I'm going to pop up, take my break, and then we'll do some songs, and we will finish up with the night of story time. We'll do one more chapter in Silverthorn tonight. Thanks for reading, Castle. Of course, Mary Beth, it's always my pleasure. Make sure you have a wonderful night. Hydrate well and rest well, and may you rise tomorrow ready to conquer the day. Have a good night, and I will see you back on Thursday for more story time. Alright, we're going to run ads. I'm going to mute, pop up, and I'll be back. Matty with the chair count. All hail the chair. So far, we only have hoist up the thing and the kit. Why did Herring ask for Kitty Man? Why does
Kitty man.
Why does Herring keep asking me to do the Kitty Man shanty? Yeah, it's like it's done by a group called the Trailer Park Boys, and it is a parody of the Wellerman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. Predictable. All right. I'm still waiting for. I actually have them in my list of things that I'm learning. I was very occupied this last week with a personal work project, personal challenge, I guess I should say, for work. But I'm gonna get back to practicing more stuff. Yeah. So we've Esther is Elsie's request for Misty Mountain, and then we also have Santiana. Okay. Well, let's get the silly one out of the way first. Herring, you are a ludicrous individual, my friend. Love you for it. Alright, we're gonna pause the background music while we do songs. Yeah, we can do God No Beard. Let's see, how many do we have? We had Misty Mountain. Maybe, hang on, let's see. Hoist up the thing, Kitty Man. So we'll do the silly ones first. Then we'll do Misty Mountain. Got No Beard. Let's hoist up the thing, Misty Mountain. Santiana. So we'll do Santiana and Misty Mountain last. We'll do. So ludicrous, I've gone planned. Having got me to ask, I couldn't say no. We can do Valhalla Calling at the end. I don't want to wear out my voice before we do another 20 pages, but if I'm not worn out by the end, I'll do Valhalla Calling at the end for sure. All right. So we'll do Kitty Man, and then we'll do Hoist Up the Thing, and then we'll do Got No Beard, and then we'll do Santiana and Misty Mountain. All right. There once was a cat with a hungry belly. The name of the cat was Whiskers Jelly. His throat was dry, his bowl was bare. Meow me furry cats, meow. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. Well, Jelly got his boys. See, I haven't listened to this, so I don't know what they did with the tune here. Well, Jelly got his boys and they gathered round. They scattered seeds from a sack they found. So just so everyone is aware, this song is about smoking the devil's lettuce. Just so everyone's on the same page. Just so you all know. In hopes the seeds they spread on the ground would bring small critters a boot, and they're Canadian, so that's what the boot is about. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. Well, the gang was bored, and Morel had dipped till one of the seeds grew green catnip. They sniffed and they snacked and they got all ripped. They all had a meow that night. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. Well, devil's lettuce is helpful. It does help with the appetite, that's for sure. where their heads were hung. When the morn was nigh, the nip was strong, and they all got high. Their bellies were shrunk, and their bowls were still dry. Oh, bring us some mice today. Soon may the kitty man come with birds and mice and some tasty nums. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full. It's a silly parody of Wellerman, Esther. It's 420 somewhere. Never could have guessed that. Look, I'm just trying to be transparent with everybody. Alright? See, I personally, I can't do any sort of uppers or down. Like, I've never been able to partake of these things. Wait, did the cats partake of the devil's lettuce? Yeah, they use the metaphor of catnip. But yes, it's about the ganja, if you will. Yeah, because I have an adrenaline disorder and a nerve disorder. If I do anything, I've had people slip me things in the past, and it did not go well for my body, and I get very angry with anything that is related to the devil's lettuce. It makes me very irritable and angry, so I just stay away from it. Alright, so next we will do Hoist Up the Thing, which is about a young man with questionable grades and a poor service record at school, more or less lying his way into becoming the captain of a ship. Thank you, Ashley. Well, I was surprised when I moved full time to the United States, because I went back and forth between my parents who lived here and my grandfather who lived in Ireland. All of my European relatives drink Jaeger as like a stomach settler, but Americans drink it like it's liquor, which confused the ever living hell out of me when I started university. Like people doing Jaeger bombs and things like that, I was so confused because I'd had that when I was a child, and it was used for settling the stomach after a meal. So when people were drinking it like it was liquor, it confused the ever-living heck out of me. Thankfully for me, it's been amazing. It let me wean a bunch off of my meds, especially... Well, that's good, Herring. That's good. You just have to make sure you don't let yourself get too dependent on anything when it comes to your health. Because too much of any one thing can be a bad thing. He lied on his job application and still got the job, yeah. Jaeger bombs had me wanting to get into hellish fights for zero to no reason. Maybe it's because it was mad at you because you didn't have any stomach issues when you drank it. Liquor, if you are an angry drunk, it means you have a lot of repressed rage. Well, Jaeger is made to be drank in small amounts after meals. Like, that is the purpose of the liquor. So if you drink a lot of it, it definitely make you sick, I would presume. Especially if you drink it with something that gives you energy, because it's meant to, like, calm you down and settle your stomach. But, you know, who am I to suggest what people should and should not drink? The Jaeger Rumpel Goldschlager shots definitely make me unhappy. I would imagine, yeah. Alright, hoist up the thing. Fresh out of college with grades straight from hell, I browse for a trade at which I could excel, and ad for a ship in need of some manning, men sails in purpose but lacking a captain. What luck, says I, to find such good fortune. A few white lies later, I ran down the pier. I bought me a coat and a cutlass or two. I jumped on the deck and I yelled at the crew. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. I can't sing the shanties, it has to be said, and all of that grog just goes right to my head. A whale meter's gross, and I miss a girl's laugh. 5 weeks at sea, and even Dave seems a catch. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. We've hit high sea waters, no land to be seen. The food's getting low and the beer has gone green. There's murmurs of discontent under the deck. If I don't act fast, it could be my neck. So I'll pull up the charts in those weird gold machines. I see what it says, but I've no clue what it means. Just pull on some levers and yank on some chains. Feign a bad back till we've landed again. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. This is jail. Now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. Ah, help! Trust me, I'm in control. Because he gets arrested at the end because he broke the law. You're not allowed to pretend that you're a sea captain.
No pretending allowed.
I don't know what Jaeger was created for. All I know is that all of my European relatives use it as like a cough syrup and like for settling the stomach after meals. That's what I've always known it as. So when I moved to the States and people drank it casually like liquor, I was baffled. I was like, why are you drinking medicine? Doesn't seem right. If I'm going to drink anything, I'd rather have a fruity cocktail or a shot of cinnamon whiskey. Yeah, I've only ever really drank for ceremonial reasons. Like we drink during certain like ceremonial things for festivals and whatnot in my family. We'll drink during weddings and sometimes during like important milestone celebrations. But it's very different from the way that most people in the world do. And when I drink, I either prefer a nice, like a very good whiskey, and I prefer to sip on it. I don't like drinking a whole lot. I don't like being drunk. I don't like the feeling of being drunk. Or I like a nice cider, like a nice sour cider. Kittyman and Hoist of the Thing, thank you for the songs. Of course, Esther. I mean, Ghost of Esther. I forgot. I appreciate you. I'm a big fan of dark and spiced rum. However, I have to say Irish whiskey specifically is my go-to, right? I have 3 bottles of whiskey that my uncles make over on the counter over there. And some of them I've had for almost 6 years, 7 years, maybe longer than that. Yeah, like I like a good cider. If I'm drinking, if it's a casual drink, like if I'm with people who are drinking and it's a part of like the culture to drink, I'll have a cider. And the lady enjoys a stout or a soju. But we don't drink often. We very rarely drink. Okay, what's our next? Our next song is going to be the Beard Song. Got no beard. Now, am I right in remembering I once met a man who said he was a fan, he wanted to sing in my shanty band, but the bottom of his face, it looked weird. But the bottom of his face, it looked weird. God, hang on. I need to remember the tune for this. I'm gonna mute this so I don't get copyright claim. Okay, I've got it. It's a little bit faster, so it's I once met a man who said he was a fan. He wanted to sing in my shanty band, but the bottom of his face it looked weird, so weird. There was skin on his chin that I loathed and feared. Okay. From his crown to his ear, he was most sincere, but you can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. Got no beard, got no beard. Can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. Got no beard, you've got no beard. You can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. I once met a girl who heard sea song. She came. Yeah? Could you at least play on tune? Go get him. Go get him. Stop whining and go get him. I once met a girl who heard sea song. She came to the show and she sang along. But the timing of the shout was so slow. She was graced with a face like a morning glow, but a holler was a blow from the very front row. And you can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho. Can't shout ho, you can't shout ho. Can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho. Can't shout ho, can't shout ho. You can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho. I once met a man on a weird machine. It had wheels and a bell, and no mast to be seen. He was shouting from a pad of notes, no notes, and on the wheels got caught, and the wheels got caught on his overcoat, and he fell from the pier, clawing at his throat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. Don't own a boat, you don't own a boat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. Don't own a boat, you don't own a boat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. And you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. I once met a bloke on a tavern floor. He had 10 beers, but I had 10 more. And his piggy little face was pink, so pink. He tried to shout the words, but they were out of sync. While a voice so bad, with a voice so bad, it'll make you think that you can't sing the shanties if you can't hold your drink. You can't hold your drink, you can't hold your drink. You can't sing the shanties if you can't hold your drink. You can't hold your drink, you can't hold your drink. You can't sing the shanties if you can't hold your drink, and you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. I once met a sailor who was big and broad, with an eye-patch parrot and a long curved sword. His chest was like a powder keg, big chest, but he had both shoes, and he smelled like eggs. I expect he would look better with a wooden peg, 'cause you can't sing shanties if you've got 2 legs. Got 2 legs, you've got 2 legs. You can't sing the shanties if you've got 2 legs. Got 2 legs, you've got 2 legs. Can't sing the shanties if you've got 2 legs. And you can't hold your drink, and you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. Well, Anna's got no beard, and Dave, he has a bike. Robbie's father-in-law has a boat, but he won't sing on the mic. And JD can't shout ho, 'cause his wife takes much offense. And then he's got 2 beautiful hairy legs. But there's no reason good enough not to join us. So sing along with the very last chorus. 2, 3, 4. Got no beard, you got no beard. Can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. Got no beard, you got no beard. Can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. You got no beard, you got no beard. You can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. You got no beard, you got no beard. You can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. You've got no beard, you got no beard. You can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. And you've got 2 legs, and you can't hold your drink, and you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. That's why I can't sing the shanties. I've got no beard. This song is now making me question my credibility of getting a boat for myself. This song reminds me of the movie Kids. I don't know if I've ever seen the movie Kids. Are you familiar with the movie Kids, Lovey?
No.
What was the... So we had Misty Mountain, and then there was another one, Santiana. We'll do Santiana, and then we'll do Misty Mountain. You guys are putting me to work tonight. Then they say you've got no tail, your wife has a rolling pin. What? Sage just coming out of nowhere with that one. Am I really laggy? Hang on, let me see if I'm... Everything seems fine on my end. I'm not seeing any lag or any issues over here. Let me check with... This is looking fine. Yeah, that's all right. It might be a Twitch issue. That's entirely possible. All right, Santiana, here we go. Oh, Santiana, gain the day. Away, Santiana. Napoleon of the West, they say, along the plains of Mexico. We'll heave her up and away we'll go. Away, Santiana. Heave her up and away we'll go along the plains of Mexico. She's a fast clipper ship and a bully good crew. Away, Santiana, and an old salty Yank for a captain too. Along the plains of Mexico. We'll heave her up and away we'll go. Away, Santiana. Heave her up and away we'll go along the plains of Mexico. Santiana fought for gold, away, Santiana. Oh, round Cape Horn through the ice and snow, along the plains of Mexico. We'll heave her up and away we'll go, away, Santiana. Heave her up and away we'll go, along the plains of Mexico. 'Twas on the field of the Molly del Rey, away, Santiana. Well, both his legs got blown away, along the plains of Mexico. Well, heave her up and away we'll go, away, Santiana. Well, heave her up and away we'll go, along the plains of Mexico. It was a fierce and a bitter strife, away, Santiana. The General Taylor took his life along the plains of Mexico. Well, heave her up and away we'll go, away, Santiana. Heave her up and away we'll go, along the plains of Mexico. Santiana, now we mourn, away, Santiana. We left him buried off Cape Horn, along the plains of Mexico. It was a pretty messed up movie from the mid-90s, but the song reminded me of a scene with an amputee going through a subway on a skateboard singing I Got No Legs. That's... yeah, that's about the same vibe. See, that is at least half the reason I want a boat. The other half is if I have a ship. Fishing, living, exploring, pirating. I just really want a boat. One I could stay on for a bit if needed, with a galley and racks to sleep in, you know? Yeah, little home on the sea. Alright, last song for the break, friends. We're doing Misty Mountains. And then I gotta get trucking if we're gonna get this whole chapter done. Alright, we are once again doing the Peter Hollins version of Misty Mountains, friends. Alright, friends, join me in the Song of the Misty Mountains, a ballad of the dwarves of the Lonely Mountains. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day, to find a long forgotten gold. The pines were roaring on the height, the winds were moaning in the night. The fire was red, it flaming spread. The trees like torches blazed with light. The wind was on the withered heath, but in the forest stirred no leaf. Their shadows lay, be night or day, and dark things silent crept beneath. The wind went on from west to east, all movement in the forest ceased, but shrill and harsh across the marsh, its whistling voices were released. Farewell we call to hearth and hall. The wind may blow and rain may fall, we must away ere break of day. Far o'er the wood and mountain torn, far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day, to find our long forgotten gold. Thank you for the songs, my friends. Always lovely to sing with you here in the tavern. Let's get some music going again. And return to our story. Castle MC expresses gratitude for the song Misty Mountain Always a pleasure, Esther, for both you, or your ghost, and Elsie. Chapter 15 of Silverthorn. Return. Pug stared into the fire, a small brazier in his study, threw dancing patterns of light on the walls and ceiling. He ran his hand over his face, feeling fatigue in the very fabric of his being. He had labored since Rogan's vision, sleeping and eating only when Katala pushed him from his studies. Now he carefully closed one of Macros's many books. He had been reading them exhaustively for a week. Since confronted with the impossibilities of Rogan's vision, he had sought every shred of information available to him. Only one other magic user upon this world had known anything pertaining to the world of Kelawon, and that had been Macross the Black. Whatever that dark presence in the vision, it had spoken a language that fewer than 5,000 on Midkemia had ever might recognize. Pug, Katala, Lori, Kasumi and his Surani garrison at Lamut, and a few hundred ex-prisoners scattered around the far coast. And of them all, only Pug could fully understand the words spoken in Gamina's vision. For that language was a distant dead ancestor of the present-day Surani tongue. Now Pug searched in vain through Macross's library for some hint of what this dark power might be. Of the hundreds of volumes Macross had bequeathed to Pug and Colgan, only a third had been catalogued. Macross, through his strange goblin-like agent Gathis, had provided a listing of each title. In some cases that had proved helpful, for the work was well known by title alone. In other cases it was useless until the book was read. There were 72 words alone called magic, and a dozen other instances of several books with like nomenclature. Looking for possible clues to the nature of what they faced, Pug had closeted himself with the remaining works and begun skimming them for any hint of useful information. Now he sat, the work upon his knee, with a growing uncertainty about what he must do. Pug placed the book carefully upon the writing table and left his study. He walked down the stairs to the hall that connected all the rooms in use in the Academy building. Work upon the upper level, next to the tower that housed his workrooms, had been halted by the rain that now beat down upon Stardock. A cold gust blew through the crack in the wall, and Pug gathered his black robe about himself as he entered the dining hall, which was used as a common room these days. Katala looked up from where she sat embroidering, near the fireplace, in one of the comfortable chairs that occupied the half of the room used as common quarters. Brother Dominic and Colgan had been talking, the heavy-set magician puffing on his ever-present pipe. Kasumi watched as William and Gamina played chess over in the corner, their two little faces masks of concentration as they pitted their newly emerging skills against each other. William had been an indifferent student of the game until the girl had shown an interest. Being beaten by her seemed to bring out his sense of competition, heretofore limited to the ball yard. Pug thought to himself that, when time permitted, he would have to explore their gifts more closely, if time permitted. Meacham entered carrying a decanter of wine and offered a wine cup to Pug. Pug thanked him and sat down next to his wife. Katala said,
"Supper is not for another hour. I'd expected I would have to come and fetch you."
"I've finished what work I had and decided to relax a little before dinner," Katala said.
"Good. You drive yourself too hard, Pug. With teaching others, supervising the construction of this monstrous building, and now locking yourself away in your study, you have little time to spend with us."
Pug smiled at her, nagging.
"A wifely prerogative,"
she said, returning his smile. Katala was not a nag. Whatever displeasure she felt was openly voiced and quickly resolved by either compromise or one partner's acceptance of the other's intractability. I will say that this is the reason why the lady and I can remain so happy all the time, because neither of us hides when we are feeling or thinking a certain way. If I have something to say, I say it. If she has something to say, she says it. And if there is a conflict, we resolve it quickly between us, and we don't involve other people. Whatever has to be done is done, and we do it between each other and with fair immediacy. So we've been together, what, 5 years now? Maybe more than that? Huh? Yeah, so 5 years. And we've never had a fight. We've never had any trouble resolving issues because we just openly communicate and we don't hide what we need to talk about with each other. Because I have certain problems with my body and my mind from years of abuse to myself, me abusing myself, not anybody abusing me. So when I am feeling a certain way, I just tell her I'm feeling a certain way, and she knows that there are certain things during the day I'll be irritable or something of the like, and if I accidentally or if I intentionally say something that was said of a heat of passion, she knows that I am not trying to be abrasive, and she'll point it out to me if it happens. It rarely happens. I don't think it's happened in a very, very long while. And I will apologize for what I've done. No, not a part of the story. Sorry. Same with Mateus and I, 19 years strong. It's very important. I did too, and I know the story. Yeah, I was just pointing out that this is a very healthy dynamic that Feist has created between Katala and Pug, because that is how marriages should be. You should be able to just address things with your significant other with you, because we don't use the word partner in my family, because partner is too soft of a word. But with your wife or your husband, with your spouse, you should just be able to have conversations and not fight during those conversations. There's a great deal of things we disagree with. It's almost like I do storytelling for a living, man. I transitioned into the natural part of storytelling immediately. You and the lady are very similar to me and Johnny. It's really should be the only way that a marriage should be. You should be able to have that discussion, any discussion with your spouse at any point. And you should be able to carry each other's burdens without hoisting burdens upon each other. This is the way I'll put it. Alright, back to story. Pug looked about.
Where is Gardon?
Kogan said, "Bah! You see, if you hadn't been locked up in your tower, you'd have remembered he left today for Shamata. So he can send Liam messages by military pouch. He'll be back in a week."
He went alone.
Kogan settled back in his chair. "I cast a foretelling. The rain will last 3 days. Many of the workers returned home for a short visit, rather than sit here in their barracks for 3 days. Gadon went with them. What have you been delving into in your tower these last few days? You've barely said a civil word for a week." Pug surveyed the room with him. Those in the room with him, Katala seemed absorbed in her needlework, but he knew she was listening closely for his answer. The children were intent upon their game. Colgan and Dominic watched him with open interest.
Reading Macross's work, seeking to discover something that might give a clue to what can be done. You?
"Dominic and I have been counseled with the others in the village. We've managed to come to some conclusions."
Such as?
"Now that Rogan is healing, and has been able to tell us in detail what he saw in his vision, some of our more talented youngsters have thrown themselves upon the problem." Pug detected a mixture of amusement and pride in the older magician's words. "Whatever it is, it's out there seeks to bring harm to the kingdom or Mid-Kemia. Is limited in power. Assume for a moment that it is, as you fear, some dark agency slipped from the rift from Calawan somehow during the Rift War. It has weaknesses and fears to reveal itself fully.
Explain, please, said Pug, his interest driving aside all fatigue.
We will assume this thing is from Kasumi's homeworld, and not seek some other more exotic explanation for its use of an ancient Surani dialect. But unlike Kasumi's former allies, it comes not in open conquest, but rather seeks to use others as a tool. Assume that it came by rift somehow. The rift is a year closed, which means that it has been here for at least that long, and perhaps as long as 11 years, gathering servants like the Pantathian priests. Then it seeks to establish itself by using a Mordrell, the beautiful one, as Rogan described him, as an agent. What we need, truly, feared is the dark presence behind that beautiful Mordrell and the others. That is the ultimate author of this bloody business. Now, if all of this is true, it seeks to manipulate and employ guile rather than direct force. Why? Either it's too weak to act, or must employ others, or is bidding. It is biding its time until it is able to reveal its true nature and come to the fore. Which all means we still must discover the identity and nature of this thing, this power.
True.
True. We also have done some speculation predicated on the assumption that what we face is not of Calawan.
Pug interrupted. Don't waste time on that, Corgan. We must proceed on the assumption that what we face is from Calawan, for that, at least, provides us with a possible avenue of approach. If Mermandamus is simply some Mordrell Witch King come into his own, one who just happens to speak a long-dead Surani tongue, we can counter that. But an invasion of some dark power from Calawan, that is an assumption we must make. Corgan sighed loudly and relit his pipe.
I wish we had more time, and more of an idea of how to proceed. I wish we could examine some aspect of this phenomenon without risk. I wish 100 things, but most all, I wish for one work, by one reliable witness to this thing.
There is a place where such a work may exist, Dominic said. Where? I would gladly accompany you or anyone else to such a place, no matter the risk. Corgan barked in a bitter laugh.
Not likely, good brother. My former student speaks of a place upon another world.
Corgan looked hard at Pug.
Library at the Assembly,
Vasily said. The Assembly? Pug saw Katala stiffen. In that place there may be answers that would aid our coming battle, he said. Katala never took her eyes from her work. In controlled tones she said, It is good the rift is closed and cannot be reopened save by chance. Your life may already be ordered forfeit. Remember, your status as a Great One was called into question before the attack on the Emperor. Who can doubt you are now a named outlaw? No. It is good. There is no way that you might return. Pug said, There is a way. Instantly, Katala's eyes were ablaze as she looked hard at him. No! You cannot return! Corgan said.
How can there be a way back?
When I studied for the Black Robe, I was given a final task. Pug explained. Standing upon the Tower of Testing, I saw a vision of a time of the Stranger, a wandering star that imperiled Calawan. It was Macross who intervened at the last to save Calawan.
Macross was again on Kellerwan on the day I nearly destroyed the Imperial Arena. It was obvious all the time, and only this week did I understand. Macross could travel between worlds at will, said Colgan, comprehension dawning in his eyes. Macross had the means to fashion controllable rifts. And I have found it. Clear instructions are in one of his books. Katala whispered. You cannot go. He reached over to her and took her white-knuckled hand in his. I must. He faced Colgan and Dominic. I have, I have means of returning to the assembly, and I must use it. Otherwise, should Mermandamus be a servant of some dark Kellowanese power, or simply a diversion while such a power comes into its own, we will be lost without hope. If we are to find a way of dealing with such a one, we must first identify it, discover its true nature, and to do that I must go to Kellowan. He looked at his wife and at Colgan. I will return to Siranuani. Computer just crashed on the phone. I'm sorry to hear that, Sage. I'm glad you made it back in, though. Too much too fast. Oh. Yeah, Rabbits and I have been together for almost 28 years now. It's a hell of a story. The tales we can weave together are so much greater than the tales we weave on our own. It's the true superpower of humanity, it is. It was Meacham who spoke first. Oh then, when do we leave? Pug said, We? Bless you, my love. I must go alone. The tall Franklin said, You can't go alone, as if that was the thought of was the sheerest absurdity. When shall we leave? Pug looked up at Meacham. You don't speak the language. And you're too tall to be Sironi. I'll be a slave. There are Midkemian slaves there, you've said often enough. His tone indicated the argument was over. He looked from Katala to Colgan and said, There wouldn't be a moment's peace round here should anything happen to you. William came over, Gamina behind him.
Papa, please take Meacham with you. Please.
Pug put his hand in the air. Very well. We'll establish some charade. Colgan said, I feel a little better, which is a relative statement, not to be taken as approval.
Your objection is duly noted.
Dominic said,
Now the issue has been broached, I, too, wish to again offer to accompany you. You offered before you knew where I was going. 1 Midkemian I can look after, 2 would prove too burdensome. I have my uses, replied Dominic. I know the healer's arts, and can perform my own brands of magic. And I have a good arm, and I can wield a mace.
Pug studied the monks.
You are taller than I by only a little. You might pass as a Suroni, but there's a problem of language. In Ishap's order, we have magic means to learn languages. While you prepare your rift spells, I can learn the Suroni tongue and aid Meacham in learning it as well, if the Lady Katala and Earl Kasumi will help.
William said,
I can help. I speak Suroni.
Katala didn't look pleased, but agreed. Kasumi said,
I also.
And he looked troubled. Colgan said, Before here, Kasumi, I expect, would be the most likely to wish to return. Yet you've said nothing.
When the rift closed, I left my life on Kellowan, and it ended. I am now Earl of Lamont. My tenure with the Empire of the Suranurani is but a memory. Even if it is possible to return, I would not, for I have taken oath to the king. But,
he said to Pug.
will you carry messages for me to my father and brother? They have no way to know I live, let alone prosper.
Of course, it's only right, he said to Katala.
Beloved, can you fashion 2 robes of the order of Hantukamba?
She nodded. He explained to the others.
It is a missionary order. Its members are commonly seen travelling about, disguised as much. We shall attract little attention as we wander. Meacham can be our begging slave,
Corgan said. Still don't like the idea. I'm not happy. Meacham looked at Corgan. When you worry, you're happy. Pug laughed at this. Katala put her arms around her husband and held him closely. She was also not happy. Katala held up the robe and said,
try this.
Pug found it a perfect fit. She had carefully chosen fabrics that would most closely resemble those used upon Kelawong. Pug had been meeting daily with the others in the community, delegating authority for his absence, and, as was understood, but not spoken, against the probability that he would not return. Dominic had been learning Surani from Kasumi and William, and aiding in Meacham's mastery of that language. Corgan had been given Macross's works on Rift to study, so he could aid Pug in the formative of one. Corgan entered Pug's private quarters as Katala was inspecting her handiwork. You're freezing that, Katala said.
My homeworld is a hot place, Corgan. These light robes are what is worn commonly.
Women as well? When she said yes, he said, positively indecent, as he pulled out a chair. William and Gamino ran into the room. The little girl was a changed child, now that Rogan's recovery was assured. She was William's constant companion, playing, competing, and arguing, as if she were a sister. Katala had kept her in the family quarters, while the old man healed in a room next to William's. The boy shouted,
Meacham's coming!
And broke out in a gleeful laughter as he spun in a circle of delight. Kamina laughed aloud as well, imitating William's spin, and Corgan and Pug exchanged glances, for it was the first audible sound the child had ever made. Meacham entered the room, and the adults' laughter joined with the children's. The burly forester's hairy legs and arms stuck out from the short robe, and he stood awkwardly in imitation of the Surani's sandals. He looked around the room. What's so funny? Corgan said. I've grown so used to seeing you in hunters' talks. Couldn't imagine what you'd look like. Pug said.
You just look a little different than I had expected.
And he tried to stifle a laugh. The Franklin shook his head in disgust. If you're done, when should we leave? Pug said.
Tomorrow morning, just after dawn.
Instantly, all laughter in the room died. Yeah, Corgan is an old fuddy-duddy, that's for sure. Frost, good night, my friend. I didn't see you go ahead and go off. I hope that you're still in, but if you're not, I will say good night anyways. I hope you rest well, that you rise tomorrow ready to face the day, and that tomorrow you find nothing but victory laying before you, my friend. Have a good night. Corgan is an old fuddy-duddy sometimes, but that's true. Let's see, how much more do we have? We have... Still got a ways. We got about 13 more pages to go. Oop, we got... And I was reading through an ad break in any case. It is getting late. I think... You know what? I think we're actually going to stop here, because this is a good place. This is a nice drop-off point just before they leave. Nice cliffhanger. And we'll finish this up next week. I think that this will be a nice, fine place for us to end. It is getting late in any case. Oh. What do we say we do a couple more songs, and then I send you all off for the evening? How does that sound? I think so too, Bear. I think that that's a good solid spot. We got a solid 2 hours in, I think. A little bit less than 2 hours of story, so that's satisfying for me. And we'll carry on from there. So we had Gonard had requested Valhalla Calling. Why don't we also do Red is the Rose? That way the lady and I could duet it, because we haven't done a duet in Freehold in a while. Castle, the only part of Chapter 1 I currently can't face is Breed, but I'm in no rush since I'm only a quarter through editing Chapter 1. But yeah, Castle, I'm leaving Breed untouched for the time being until I have your feedback. Oh, that's right. I had other character feedback I needed to give you. I'm going to restart my computer and be right back. All right, Tyson, do that. We can do Candle Shop as well. I have that other feedback for you, Matty. I need to get it to you. I made the notes and then I had my programming stuff over the weekend, and I completely lost track of all of the other things I was doing. I really should have a to-do list for all that I have to do, but the lady's greatest irritation with me is that I have all of these things to do and I don't put them on a to-do list. I just do whatever is in front of me. Sometimes to my detriment. Sorry, I was cleaning. You'd think I'd have a tidy house with as much as I clean. Now, the lady and I are constantly cleaning, and we never have. Things are never clean. Good night, Esther. Rest well. May you rise tomorrow, ready to face the day, and may you and Elsie sleep well. I know that it's not night for you yet, but when you do get to night, I hope that it is well. Yeah, we haven't done Chandler Shop in a while. Let's do Chandler Shop, then we'll do Valhalla Calling, and then the lady and I will do Red is the Rose. Alright, we're going to pause the music again. I don't have a to-do list. Given my health, it should be a ta-da list. Also, Castle, where can I reach out about the previous conversation? Just reach out to me in the guild. That's the easiest place to get a hold of me. And as soon as I have the time, I'll respond to the message. I'm a little bit freer this week than I normally am, though I do have a lot of work to catch up on. So I should be able to get to you this week. Well, I know it's no rush, but it is important. So just reach out to me, and we'll talk out a little bit there, and then we'll schedule a time when I can hop on a call with you. I find that these sorts of conversations do better when you can have the human interaction portion of it. Just text on a screen doesn't do much for cementing things in the mind. All right, Chandler Shop. Here we go. Good, Tyson. That's good to hear. As I went into the Chandler Shop, some candles for to buy. I went into the Chandler Shop, and nothing did I spy. Now I was disappointed. Some angry words I said, where I heard the sound of a right above me head. Oh, I heard the sound of a right above me head. Now I was quick and I was slick, so up the stairs I fled. And very surprised was I to find the Chandler's wife in bed, and with her was another man of quite considerable size, and they were having a right before me eyes. Oh, they were having a right before me eyes. Now when the fun was over and done, the lady raised her head, and very surprised was she to find me standing by the bed. If you would be discreet, me boy, if you would be so kind, why don't you come up for some whenever you feel inclined? Oh, why don't you come up for some whenever you feel inclined? So many's a night and many's a day when the Chandler wasn't home, to get myself some candles to the Chandler Shop I'd roam. But never a one she'd give to me instead, just a little bit more of the, to light me way to bed. Oh, a little bit more of the, to light me way to bed. So come all ye merry men, take heed if ever you go into town. And if you leave your wife alone, be sure to lie her down. And if you'll be so kind to her, just lay her down there on the floor and give her so much of the. She doesn't want any more. Oh, give her so much of the. She doesn't want any more. Hey! That's a good one. I like that one. I will admit Cassandra will be an interesting fix once I get to her. And she'll be a spectacular powerhouse of a character if you can manage it. Alright, next we have... Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. I appreciate you barmaiding over on TikTok. Even though TikTok keeps being a bastard to us. They don't ban me for saying that. We'll do Valhalla Calling next. Now, short and silly that one. Yeah, I like that one because it's got a nice tempo to it. I think it's very funny. The replacement of the lewd bits of it with the claps I find to be very entertaining because I'm a child. So, if you've never heard us sing Valhalla Calling here in the tavern before, Valhalla Calling is a brilliant Viking shanty written by Miracle of Sound back in 2020. It got very popular on TikTok, and it's a lovely song. We sing the chorus here a little bit, basically the same as anyone else would, but we sing the verses the same as anyone else would, but the chorus we sing a little bit differently. We do it in what is called Viking song, or throat singing, not Viking song, druid singing, or throat singing. Some people find it to be grating, some people find it to be very enjoyable. It has been known to cause disruptions of the lymphatic and vascular systems, as well as total shutdown of the nervous system, as well as temporary and permanent blindness. It also causes spontaneous combustion and sometimes spontaneous pregnancy and spontaneous... my brain stopped. It'll cause that as well as spontaneous abduction by extraterrestrial beings. So now that you have been warned, we cannot be held liable for any negative effects that you experience as a result of listening to Valhalla Calling here in the tavern. Hey, my offspring are more grown up than I am, says Bear. I already have brain lag. Alright, join me, friends. 3, 2, 1. Ships on the vigor of the waves are skimming, bearing summits to the burdened plains. Each horizon is a new beginning. Rise and reign. Far from the fjords and the ice-cold curtains, ravens soar over new frontiers, songs and sagas of a fate determined. Shields and spears, vows of favor or the thrill of plunder, pull together for the clan and king. Clank of hammers and the crash of thunder. Pound within. This is a part where you plug your ears if you need to. Oh, the echoes of eternity. Oh, Valhalla calling me. Oh, to pluck the strings of destiny. Oh, Valhalla calling. I'm sorry. Boo's falling asleep on the back of the couch, and he almost fell off. But he's tipping his head, and he's just drooling on the side of the couch. I'm sorry. I was watching it happen as I was singing it. It got me. Hang on. Okay, all right. Valhalla calling me. Sails are swaying on the crimson rivers, blood and glory in the fighting fields. Shields are shattered into splintered timbers. iron and steel. Fires are rising and the bells are ringing. Glory, take us into Odin's halls. Golden glimmer in the sound of singing. As God's call. Here comes again. Oh, the echoes of eternity. Oh, Valhalla calling me. Oh, to pluck the strings of destiny. Oh, Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me. Wind and the waves will carry me. Wind and the waves will set me free. Wind and the waves will carry me. Wind and the waves will set me free. Oh, the echoes of eternity. Oh, Valhalla calling me. Oh, to pluck the strings of destiny. Oh, Valhalla calling me. Valhalla calling me. We keep plucking Destiny string, our poor Captain Hoodie. Yeah, it's the danger of the job. Of course, Gunnar, I appreciate you being here, my friend, through your nights of turbulence. I'm glad that you can find a little bit of respite here in the tavern. All right, my love, are you ready to join me for a duet? I'm gonna send them all off with Red is the Rose. We haven't done that one in a little while. Bear's been pretty good about recommending new ones, so we've actually not been doing the staples quite as often. I mean, I can't say much. She fed me today. Destiny fed you today?
She did.
How'd she do that? Oh, I see. I was like, is he down visiting? Oh, I see. The tavern is needed. Place to calm the nerves and quiet the storm. I'm forever in you and the lady's debt for opening the doors to troubled souls like me, giving us a place of comfort. I do not exaggerate when I say it is our absolute pleasure and privilege to do so, my friend. I've been trying to find stuff to mix it up a bit, and I appreciate you as well, brother. She did Uber Eats. Well, what a kind lass she is. She's always out here mommying people, just like Una is. The driver was dumb. Well,
The driver was dumb.
said dumb AF. All right, my love, come join me. I mean, I guess I can turn the mic to you more, and you can. That way, it'll be a little bit better because we'll turn this up. Because then we don't have me yelling into the mic, directed at you that way. Just stand right there.
Hope I'm not dying while I do it.
I'm a bit worn out, so I'm probably going to be pitching. Esther says hello.
Esther.
He went to the back and yelled over the fence. I mean, at least he put in the effort, right? Also, shout out to the kind words of the lady of and the other tavern goers in the guild for the kind and supportive informal informational words. Ah, I see. Yeah, over in the salty spittoon, I imagine. He almost fell off. He was like, all right. Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills to your darling. You choose the road, love, and I'll make the vow. And I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any. 'Twas down by Killarney's green woods that we strayed, when the moon and the stars, they were shining. The moon, it shone its rays on her locks of golden hair, and she swore she'd be my love forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any. It's not for the parting that my sister pains. It's not for the grief of my mother. It's all for the loss of my bonny Irish lass, that my heart is breaking forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any.
Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any.
Oh, my love is fairer than any. Thank you, my darling. I just wanted to pipe up and say thanks for reading and songs. I had a quick meditation, then just stayed listening, feeling much like myself again. Melu, I'm glad to hear it. Very, very glad to hear it. Also, she added chicken nuggets to the order, and I absolutely love that. Glad to get it. Thank you, Castle and Una, for Red is the Rose. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Esther. I hope you and Elsie and Johnny have a wonderful day. I hope that Johnny feels better. Give him our love. And I'll have a story out on everything tomorrow. So hopefully that will be something that will make everyone feel better. Big thank you to our barkeeps, Matty, Frost, Bear, Ashley, and Destiny, who all came out and made sure everyone stayed in good spirits and had a good time. It means the world that you all care enough about this to come in and do it. Fantastic, Master Castle and Lady Una. Petra, always a pleasure. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Um, Thank you all for spending your time here in the tavern with us tonight. It really does mean the world to the lady and I. And I hope to see you all back again on Thursday for more Harry Potter. We're almost done with Harry Potter too. We're going to have to vote on 2 more books here soon to see what everybody wants. It's gonna be quite an ordeal. But we are done for the night. If you are over on Twitch, we will raid out to share the storyteller's love. But otherwise, you are free to go and roam about the countries. I send you off to bed, my friends, and I hope that you all rest well and rise tomorrow ready to conquer the goddamn day with all the fervor of a warrior bloodthirsty on the battlefield. Guten Nacht, mein Freunden. Haben Sie einen wunderbaren Nacht, Tyson. Speaking for myself, what small things I can do is a great pleasure. And every great and small thing that you do, Baird, is deeply appreciated by the lady and I. We love you all for what you do for us, and we appreciate having the privilege of being able to do what it is we do for you. Yeah, we will. I think we'll raid Falcor tonight, Bear. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Nitzo, have a good night, brother. Good to see you. Rest well. Good night, Sage. Thank you for dropping in, my friend. All right, friends. Be well, and while the doors of the tavern are closing, and that is a sad thing, they will open again the very next time you seek a story. So until then, I will bid you all stay bloodthirsty, and we will see you next time.
Dragon Tavern Gaming, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming to hang out, Raiders. How was your stream tonight? How was your stream tonight? Yes, welcome in from the tavern. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Book Dragon's Den. I'll do a name trace for JC, and I will do a name trace for Black Dragon, and then you guys have joined us during our reading segment, so then we're gonna hop back in and read one more chapter of the Emerald City Vaults tonight,